Hello and welcome to another live edition of the Nittany Dispatch. I'm John Sauber, Penn State beat writer at the Central Daily Times. She's Audrey Snyder doing the same over at InsideTheLions.substack.com. And I'm like, should we just sit here in silence for 30 minutes? I'm kind of speechless.
The fact that the Nittany Dispatch, two people who talk a hell of a lot, are speechless tells you everything you need to know about the state of Penn State football. Because if there's oxygen there, John and I are going to grab it.
Yes.
And we're going to say something.
We talk over each other all the time, like I am right now.
It's part of the show. If we're not cutting each other off, what are we even doing?
Yes.
The fact that Penn State lost to Northwestern 22-21, the fact that there were fire Franklin chants at like 20 points throughout today's game, the fact that the head coach sounds defeated. Oh, yeah, John, I think I'm burying the news here. The starting quarterback's out for the rest of the year with an injury. All of today, to me, felt sad and surreal for Penn State football. Like, I understand the frustration from the fact. God, I sound like James Franklin. I understand the frustrations. He said that like 20 times afterward. But it was just a sad scene of like 3 losses in a row this season that you bankrolled to try and win a national championship. It all is blown up in their face, and it's blown up in epically bad ways. I mean, I don't know what's worse right now, the offense or the defense. I don't know what you do with the head coach. And
I think I know.
Yeah, I think we both know. I think he maybe knows too.
Yeah,
maybe?
I think this is probably a good time.
Let's start there. Yeah,
we'll get to Drew Allar because obviously that's a massive part of this, and you feel for Drew. Like, he's trying to get that first down and gets injured. James Franklin told us, like you said, that he's done for the season. I saw him. He was yelling some expletives in the tent. Like, I think he knew then that he was done. And you can see he was frustrated as he got carted off the field. But James was asked about if he still wanted to be at Penn State, whatever. Like, and that part of it kind of danced around it. So then I directly asked him if he thought being at Penn State was best for his career still. Because I'd asked him last Monday if he thought he could still achieve what he wanted at Penn State. And the answer he gave was, I take full responsibility for what's happened tonight. I take full responsibility for what's happened this season, and I'm committed to the guys in that locker room. You'll notice that is not an answer to the question. That is not a response to if he wants to be at Penn State, if he thinks he should be at Penn State, anything like that. It is, he loves his players, essentially. And I get it. I understand why he answered the way he did. But to me, that sounds like a head coach who knows the end is near, that this has now run its course. 11 plus seasons for Franklin at Penn State, a ton of success, ending with like the biggest thud that you can imagine. 3 straight losses, 2 of them to like really bad teams. Now, UCLA is probably going to be a lot better by the end of the year, but this Northwestern team is really bad. And this was at home for Penn State. And for all of the consternation about the atmosphere this week and what it would look like, this crowd was mostly helping push this
showed
team
up,
forward. Yeah, like they were trying. The fans were not an issue today. They were not like antagonizing or anything like that. They were trying to will this team to a win, and it just seems like this team doesn't have it. I don't know why. I don't know what. I honestly, I'll be curious to go back and watch all 22 of this. I actually, rewatching UCLA was one of those situations where I was like, I thought the defense actually played well. There's just, Dom DeLuca got caught more than once out of positioning, and it actually damaged them pretty badly. So I thought they would come back this week and play well. They were bad. The offense was bad. The special teams, despite Audrey's tweeting, was also kind of bad.
Okay, I got to defend myself on that.
Nope.
The special teams, they were doing well, right? Dani Dennis-Sutton blocked a punt, second punt block in as many weeks. Northwestern muffs a punt. Penn State recovers it. So you have those positive open. Gabe Nwosu gets a punt down at the 1, gets the bounce. And it was after the Nwosu punt that I tweeted, something along the lines of, Penn State is a special teams unit it can build around. Then Devontae Ross comes out and muffs a punt, and of the many ways and reasons why Penn State lost this game, that's certainly one of them. Yep. So I should rescind that. And then Tyler Holsworth comes out. At this point, it's like, we've already made Audrey look dumb for shouting out the special teams. Yes. Tyler Holsworth takes the ball out of the end zone and gets stopped at the 9. And I'm like, okay, at this point, like, it's all broken. And that, to me, speaks to the bigger problem here. I mean, the fact that James Franklin, because I was the one who asked him about Drew Allar and if he has any injury update, the fact that the man gave me a direct injury update answer,
Audrey,
that's like the first time in 12 years. That's how I know the man is down bad.
I was a little confused because he like looked at the door. I was like, oh, he's
Mm-hmm.
waiting for confirmation about something. And then someone on the staff came in and essentially like, gave the go ahead. And James Franklin said that he was out for the year. And he even told us he's the reason he like paused was because he wanted to make sure that Drew's family was okay.
Yeah, Kevin Threlkel told him and came in, and the Drew's family had told Kevin, hey, so clearly, and was it left ankle-ish or something? Is that what it looked like? I don't. So, we don't get specifics. I just am curious.
It looked like his left ankle. Our photographer at the Sunday Daily Times, Abby Dry, got a great photo. You can see his ankle's just like completely turned the wrong way. It's not like a gruesome injury, but it looks like, you know what I mean? Kind of when you have like what can cause issues in your ankle.
Well, and now for Allar, right now you're talking. We're October 11th. We're recording a pre-draft process, right? And that's his final moment as Penn State's quarterback, as the guy that was supposed to take this program to new heights, that was supposed to help deliver them to a national championship. For it to end that way, I'll go back to what I said. I'll go back to what I have up on Inside the Lions and what I continue working on. It's sad and it's surreal. I mean, that's I think the only way you can frame today. It's like no matter how you slice it, what you're seeing in all three phases, right? These coordinators that Penn State went out and opened the pocketbooks for and gave them all the money and bankrolled this roster because they were tired of losing to Ohio State, and this year was going to be different. This year's drastically worse. I mean, it's the conversation you and I had at some point last week was like, okay, in what ways is this roster better than it was a year ago? Well, here you are, October 11th. Your season is done, and now you're turning it over to a redshirt freshman quarterback. Ethan Grunkemeyer is going to be the guy. Good luck going on the road at Kinnick Stadium. That'll be the next. And yeah, like we will get to all of this throughout the week of what comes next with Grunk and how do you do this. But like, there's just so much to unpack from today that is just one subplot to a very crazy day.
I was going to say that, like, so you saying that I think was the first time in my head that I had like acknowledged that Ethan Grunkemeyer is the starting quarterback moving forward. You know what I mean? Like it feels this game tonight feels like a line of demarcation. Yep. Like this is the end. I don't know. I don't know that I'm not reporting anything, to be clear, whatever. I don't know that James is going to be the head coach on Saturday. I don't. I would have thought it would have been 100% guaranteed no matter what heading into this game. I also never thought they would lose this game. I know I joked and said that they could lose this game, but I don't know that I ever believed it because Northwestern's really bad. But I don't know that James is going to be the head coach Saturday. I don't know.
We'll see. As I look at my phone just to make sure that nothing's happened. Yeah.
I know.
We're very distracted today.
I continue to check my phone to see if I hear anything, to see if others hear anything first. But like, I wouldn't. I don't know. I would almost be surprised if James is leading this program moving forward for sure, and even as by the end of this week, right? Like, it feels like tensions are so high right now. And like, listen, I'm not one to tell people how to fan. Like, don't like leave James Franklin's daughter out of this, please. We've heard Audrey and I both have heard a lot of this. Like, don't attack his daughter for his shortcomings as a head coach. Say whatever to him. Like, we hear the expletives at him all the time. Whatever. He's a grown man. He can handle it. Don't be like that.
Let the family out of it. And that's where when people ask, again, there's a lot of AI slop that's been going around the internet this year too, more so than ever. When people ask about personal lives and these kinds of things, like I make it very clear, or at least I try to. Maybe it doesn't always land. We're here to judge the results, to judge the product on the field. And often there's a difference between the person and what we're critiquing in our jobs, right? Because it's our job to be objective. I don't care what people do in their personal lives. Like to me, and if it doesn't impact what's happening on the field, like I don't care. And that's just how I operate. And I think the same thing. I mean, it's when I was doing some work earlier this week, I was digging through some old files and trying to find some things about when James Franklin got here and what was said at the intro presser, kind of all the things you do as a beat writer to kind of prepare in case the end is coming for the head coach. And you look back and when he got here, I mean, his girls were kids. They were little kids. And this is a tough place to live. I imagine it is a tough place to be a head coach's child or an assistant coach's kid or a coordinator's kid in this town. So yeah, let the family out of it. Critique James Franklin all you want. Again, even Drew Allar, for all the shortcomings as a player that we've seen, has been nothing but tremendous to deal with, to interact with, and that goes back to when he was recruit. Really good person. So yeah, I just want to say that because I think that gets lost in this. And sure, this is hard for the fans, but this is really, really tough too for those coaches. And I get it; they're paid millions and millions of dollars and all these things. But so are the players too now. The coaches and players, for everybody to be going through this, there was a lot of hurt, and that's what really kind of came through to me post game. People don't know. They don't have the answers. James Franklin said they probably will even get back to it tonight, meaning Saturday night, which I think speaks to how much they probably want to stay in that bunker as well and not associate with what's happening. It's a surreal, sad day to be a Penn State fan. And as you and I hit on last week, the season doesn't get any easier, John. And now with a backup quarterback, like, your expectations have to change.
4-8. I think they're going to go 4-8. I just I don't see wins other than maybe Rutgers to close the season on the schedule, and maybe Michigan State too.
I was going to say Michigan State, loses today to UCLA by a lot.
But that's on the road, and again, you don't know what the situation is going to be for Penn State. Like, this has been a disaster, an unmitigated disaster.
Truthfully, John, I don't know how you could really project that it's any worse. I mean,
I think rock bottom is losing to Rutgers.
Up to this point in the season, it's like, and Bob Flounders, when we were chatting, waiting for James Franklin to come in, he brought up the point, and I wrote about it this week. I believe you and I talked about it on the pregame podcast. Remember the feeling in this building when Penn State went up on Oregon in the first overtime. Now remember today and the angst from the fan base and the Fire Franklin chants and the booing and all that. Man, that was only a few weeks ago. To go from that moment, which felt like they finally were going to, do this, take down a ranked team at home, top 5 opponent, top 6 opponent, to get to here today. To get to here today, man, so much has transpired.
I'm going to ask you something that I'm sure fans probably don't want to hear right now, but I think it's really interesting.
Great. Continue to put me on the spot, John. That's why I'm here.
If they beat Oregon, do you think they're 6-0? I do.
Yeah.
I think, and this is
wild. Yes.
To the broader point I'm trying to make, I think once they lost that game, some saw it, you could tell something shifted. I think it was over for everyone at that point. There was so much energy, time, and effort put into Penn State this season as a team, the coaching staff, the players, the personnel, the non coaching staff members. There was so much put into this, so much time, so much effort put into that game, and that being the one where everyone points to it. Like, James didn't say it, like he said he had the speech ready post 2018, right, or whenever he said it.
Yeah.
But I could have easily seen James having something ready to say after they beat Oregon, right? Like that they finally did it. They'd finally overcome Goliath, and they're no longer David, right? And instead they lose, and they lose in a way that is heartbreaking, that is familiar, that is difficult to overcome, that is going to leave them asking what if the entire week, right? And have them thinking about it the entire following week. And so what happens? They lose to UCLA. Why? Because they were probably thinking about that loss to Oregon. They lose to Northwestern.
Are you telling me the 1-0 mentality failed them, John?
For the first time in his tenure, yes, I think it did. It really failed. I mean, it had failed.
Well, their record after the first loss, the snowball theory,
yeah. I think there's truth to that. But this time, it's really failed because those teams, like that Michigan State team, wasn't bad. This was a terrible UCLA team that hadn't led and actually might end up being better, as I said, but a legitimately terrible Northwestern team that they couldn't overcome. I have to think that result ended all of this. It was the moment that changed the program forever, that changed the direction of who the head coach is moving forward, what players are on this team,
potentially
what this looks like. Yeah. Potentially, yes, but I do think if that ends up happening, that's the moment we'll point to. Drew Allar throwing that interception to
That
Dylan
pick
Thieneman
is the moment. Yes.
You could I can't get over the feeling that I had on the sideline, right? I think I've said it before on the pod. I was like in line with Drew, like he threw it toward me and the ball was coming to me. And it felt like all of the air had been sucked out of the stadium when Thieneman caught it. And like Oregon's players were celebrating, but everybody else was dead silent. And that's when booing started, right? After everyone kind of realized what happened. But it felt like this moment of devastation had hit, right? Like this moment of everyone realizing that was it. And now it's gone. Like that everything they had been chasing was now gone. Even though it wasn't, they had put so much stock into that game. Fans, administration, players, coaches,
still couldn't do it.
And still couldn't do it. And it was an if not now, then when kind of moment. And I think it crushed this team emotionally. James kind of acknowledged it, that they do their best to keep it positive in the building and try and keep all the outside noise out. But there's so much talk about him and his job status that it's impossible to keep all that out. And the players here, they see it on social media. And so, like, I think all of that, like, that everything outside the building seeped into it in a way that didn't allow them to move forward and be the team that they were supposed to be this year.
Yeah, the noise is loud. It's going to continue to get louder after this loss for sure. And now you're trying to get a backup quarterback ready to go to Kinnick Stadium, where surely fans have terrible recollections of Taquan Roberson not even able to get the snap off, and no one could hear him because it was that loud and he was that ill prepared. And this is also where, John, because they were not blowing teams out with ease in non-conference play, Ethan Grunkemeyer did not get as many reps as we thought he would have up to this point, right? Now, again, how much of a difference will it make? We don't know. But for all the fans that were clamoring to bench Drew Allar and rip the Band-Aid off and put Grunkemeyer in, well, you're getting your chance now. It's not how people expected it to happen or wanted it to happen. But you're going to get your chance next Saturday night under the lights at Kinnick Stadium. And man, when Grunkemeyer came in, and here's what I forgot, because again, I'm in the press box knocking out my gut reactions for my subscribers over at Inside the Lions. Check it out if you're not a subscriber. Working on the gut reactions, Allar gets hurt, your attention goes there, and he comes off, Grunkemeyer comes in, and there's this scene where it's like, oh, like Drew really is hurt. Like there's something wrong. Trainers come out, help him off. And then Grunkemeyer comes in and the crowd gets really loud because they want to support him. And the O-line's like, no, like get quiet. And at that point, I forgot that it was already 4th down because Allar rushes for 1 yard. So talk about being put in a tough spot. Ethan Grunkemeyer comes in a 1-point game, 4th quarter with under 5 minutes left on a 4th down. Hey, kid, good luck. Scrambles, doesn't do much. Penn State, turns the ball over on downs, and that was effectively the game. And that also, I feel like I talk about this every week on here because we never got it. The signature moment for Drew Allar and those defining moments, I was thinking, all right, Allar's going to lead him down the field here. He's going to get a nice moment, and then we're just going to dissect.
2016, Yeah,
we're going to dissect all the different ways that this went wrong, but he has a nice little moment. Instead, we're never going to know what would have happened on that 4th down with Drew Allar because he got hurt. And maybe we do know because the sample size is everything we've seen before this. And the pick that he threw today in the end zone.
Audrey, he tried to throw a back shoulder fade to Liam Clifford, which that whole sentence is
a lot to unpack there. Yeah.
Don't do that. But also he threw it right at the defensive back. Omayadi, I think is his name. Sorry, my apologies.
Sure.
Sure. But
if your friends and family are listening, we apologize.
That's on me. But it was right to him. Like it was a back shoulder fade that was like not there. Like there was no back shoulder thrown to. It was right at the defensive back. And I couldn't believe he threw it. Like I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, what are you doing there? Like and that's the Drew Allar experience, right? It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and you just hope that the highs hit at the right times and the lows hit when there are no consequences or low consequences. And now, and I will this is a bummer for Drew because he deserved a chance to try to right the ship, even if people didn't think he was going to. But going out this way, he was clearly frustrated. He had put himself on the line time and time again.
He came back for this.
He came back because he wanted to win. And this is the thing that I think can get lost for fans.
He wanted to beat Ohio State and he wanted to win a Big Ten. And that's the other part is for him not to even be able to get on the field in Columbus, that is going to absolutely devastate him. And that sucks.
Yeah. And like, it's unfortunate for everyone involved. And I don't know. I for him to go out that way in this game is such a bummer for someone who like decided to come back to try and win those things. And I think it's important in all of this. And this is a thing that I had to remind myself Thursday night after Orion Kirkring threw a ball to the backstop to end the NLDS. But these guys are trying to win. Like nobody's out there trying to lose.
Nobody's trying more than they are. Nobody cares more than they do. Yeah.
And that's like you could see, but I say that because you could see the devastation from everyone. Yeah. So many players as they walked off the field, like James stayed on the field because he always does make sure all the players get off safely and down the tunnel and everything and in the locker room. I saw 4 or 5 guys give him a hug and tell him they love him, and, he would say that he loves them too. And that was just it. Like, I think they know. I think everyone knows, right? I think that this is like the sort of
the end is coming, I think. Yeah.
That everyone is feeling and that everyone knows it's getting there. Before we continue this discussion, though, before I forget to do the thing that I have to do every podcast, let's have a quick break and listen to some ad reads from our sponsors. The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets, maybe some coaching searches. Saturday's just got way more fun. College football is back. Think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts. With live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, and more, DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to own every Saturday. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DISPATCH. That's code DISPATCH for new customers. Get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
John?
I feel like that was like some of my finest work for what it's worth.
It really was. Penn State might be going 0-3, but you're good. You went 1-0 today. I'm proud of you.
Yes, thank you. I need that.
You know what else, John?
Yes.
Let's talk about our friends over at Robeck. I see the logo there. I see the dog. New users over at Robeck can use code TND20 to save 20% off their first purchase. John's a brand ambassador, whether he wants to admit it or not. He is. And I think he gladly would admit it. I wear Robeck quite a bit too. You can check out the Penn State collection as well. Even if the team's not doing well, we know Penn State fans are still going to show up and want to rep their team. So check out Robeck over at robeck.com and use code TND20 as in the Nittany Dispatch 20 to save 20% off your purchase.
Quick note, if you are taking shots at people in the chat that are, like, again, family members of James Franklin, I'm just going to ban you. Like, it's very easy for me to do. I just click a button and you're gone forever and I don't have to read it.
Listen, we're trying to have a civil discourse on the internet. We know that that's not easy. Again, these are people first and foremost, and I understand the fan passion and it spills over, and you have every right to show up and boo and be mad and do whatever it is you want to do and yell at home. At the end of the day, these are human beings, and it's a game. Now, granted, I get myself way too emotionally attached to my sports team, so I get it. But it is a game. And the sun will come up tomorrow, even though these skies were really ominous when Penn State left the field. So much so that I snapped a photo from the press box and was like, oh, this feels like the storm is coming. And I think the storm, John, is going to be a Penn State team that does not have any answers. And I spent post-game with Dani Dennis-Sutton, and the guy was trying to find answers for us, to his credit, for coming out. Appreciate him coming out, speaking to us.
Which only 4 players came out, and that's not a knock on the media relations staff.
It's tough getting guys to talk.
They can only do so much. Yeah. So a lot of credit to TJ Shanahan, Dani Dennis-Sutton, Zane Durant, and Devontae Ross, I believe, were the 4 that came out and talked to us after the game.
Yeah. I'm fearful to see who we talk to this week. It's going to be tough getting people to want to speak. But you know what? That's part of the job. And I say job because many of these guys are paid and they are highly compensated now. And this is what you're going to be dealing with in the NFL. And we're professionals and we try to be as nice, but understand that we have a job to do. And the guys who spoke today certainly get that. I think most of the roster gets that. But Dani was asked about this run defense, and can you kind of put your finger on what's wrong with it and how do you maybe fix it? And I'm going to pull up the quote right here. He was asked where and why Penn State's run defense is falling short. His response, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's not really my job, neither. We got somebody to do that. Later on, I asked Dani about the learning curve with this defense because we've heard a ton about that. And I asked if the defensive line, if Dani thinks they have a good grasp on Jim Knowles' scheme. He said, I'm not sure, really. He's a great defensive coordinator. Yeah, that's really it. We try our best as a D-line. These guys, they're confused. They're frustrated. They're upset. They don't know how and why and how this thing got off the tracks and how they try to right the ship. And I think those answers speak volumes because talking to James Franklin, too, it's on me. It's 100% on me. I got to do a better job. I take full responsibility. I own it. We got to make the corrections and move on. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but there are a lot of corrections to make for a team that, again, the blame is equally shared. And I think that's the part that surprises me most because we knew throughout non-conference play and against Oregon that the offense was a disaster. And we were both like, but the defense is going to be really good. Like, this looks like one of the best defenses in the country. They looked that way for most of the part against Oregon, most of the game. The fact to me when I thought today was probably going to end up being a Penn State loss was when Penn State scores the touchdown. Or I think it was, touchdown. And then, I almost said Oregon. Northwestern comes out and marches right down the field on this Jim Knowles defense. Goes down for like a 5-minute touchdown drive. And I'm like, you know what? That was gut check time for this defense. And they had no answers. And that's what I don't get.
I mean, I think I get it. I hate to ascribe the emotion.
Checked out?
I think they're all checked out. And I think that's like, and I'm not hesitant. Like, I don't know how much value there is in talking about what happened on the field right now because of what could be happening away from it for the future of the program. But I will say, whatever happens with coaching staff, whatever moving forward, and I know if James is still the head coach, you want to prioritize this iteration of the team and making sure that they can win as many games as possible. But like at some point, you just have to like move forward and try and find out what you have for next year of guys that are going to be on the roster, could be on the roster moving forward, because this is like, as much as you hate to say it, like this year's over. It's just done. There's not going to be the playoff. It was funny. I was talking to Max Ralph of Penn Live, and I said to him about like him and I agreed. Like, we think this year a three loss team gets in the playoff just with the way things are trending. And then I looked at him in the postgame presser. I was like, well, not this loss team. Like, to be clear, but yeah, like I do think that happens, and like that kind of proves what we were talking about, that this is not like that the opportunity.
This team's today, not even close,
right? Yeah. Like all they had to do was win today, and suddenly vibes are a little better. Things can get rolling for them. They can feel some confidence and try and play better because of it. But instead, like they're just done. Like, I think everyone on the field is done. It felt like, I mean, you could see it in James' eyes. Like he looks exhausted. Like he looks like he's done with all of this. And I don't know. It's hard to blame him. It clearly takes a toll on him emotionally. He's an emotional guy. But at the end of the day, like this is still it's his job to win games. And like you can't quit in that way. And I don't know. It feels like everyone on the field was just sort of done.
Part of me wonders. James Franklin, right? His big thing, or one of his big things, he's got a lot of sayings and he's drilled in during 12 years here. You know, it starts with "I love you," it ends with "I love you." I kind of took his response to a few questions like that, where he said with the players that I wish I could take the hurt from them and this and that, and it's about the guys in the room and this and that. And to me, again, and we'll see how things shake out here in the next hour, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, weeks, depending, who knows where this goes. But to me, in a little bit of a way, that kind of felt like a, hey guys, I love you. Thank you. You know, to me, it sounded like a guy that knows.
Felt like goodbye.
It did. And that to me is, again, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're playing too much body language doctor, which we tend to do on here.
No, not
But
us.
to me, to me, it tonight felt like the end, and it felt like this was the James kind of politely throwing up his hands, taking ownership of everything, and saying like, "We tried, we did the best we could. I own it. I'm responsible for all of it." But also, I think deep down recognizing like it's not good enough, and this is what it is, and this is now it's a lost season, and to have this kind of
So
payroll.
crazy. It's October 11th, and last week we were talking about wow, they blew it. Now it's like actually, it's not
This
just
is
the last
it.
season.
Yeah.
It might be like might be the end of the tenure. Like it might be the end of everything that Penn State football was
for more than a
11
decade.
years.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. There's a level of I apologize if I'm rambling at this point in the pod, but it does feel like I think there's a level of disbelief that everyone's feeling at this point. Like you almost like
Yeah.
I don't know if it ends up happening, you don't believe it. Like it's there's a level of shell shock to it.
Yeah, and it's almost like we're not running out of things to ask him because we've got a lot of questions.
Yes.
But it's like when he can't give you answers, or he's like trying to give you answers, but they're not there. Like I think that's to me where it's like this guy doesn't know. I mean, again, the fact that I got a direct answer to an injury question to the starting quarterback, like most times, John, in James Franklin gamesmanship, I cannot ever recall getting an injury confirmation from the head coach immediately after a game, let alone for the starting quarterback. Like typically they would play this out all next week of, well, Drew, we'll have to see whatever. Or on Monday when he speaks next, they'd give us an update, maybe. Like that was telling to me.
And it's not just that he gave us that. It was that he waited to make sure he could. Like he could have easily said like, "Oh, I haven't heard yet, so I don't know." But he didn't. He like waited a few
Audrey
seconds.
piped down. We'll address this Monday. Yeah.
Right. And instead, like he was just forthcoming. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I put you on the spot last week, so I may as well continue to do this.
Great.
I'm sorry. Was that this for what it's worth? We are not predicting anything, or we're not reporting it. We are predicting something. We're not reporting anything. We're not saying we've heard anything. To be clear, I don't want either of us to be held essentially like what we're saying is like source information or whatever.
Yeah, don't clip this is what we're saying. Don't clip this. I'm sure. Yeah.
Was that James Franklin's last press conference as Penn State's head coach?
I think that it very well could have been.
Could have. No. Yes or no? I'm not letting you James answer.
John, I've got to check the film first before I go back to evaluate. I just want to make sure. I got to talk to my comm staff before I do this.
Re-listen to the audio. Make
sure I've got 12 years
of
practice with the guy. I'm learning how to filibuster a little bit better here. Yeah, I would not be shocked if tonight was it. I mean, I think when you lose a game of this magnitude, when you lose 3 games now of this magnitude, something has to change. Something has to show that you're changing. And maybe that's not James. Maybe that's another coach kind of being put on the spot and being relieved of their duties. But I also struggle to see that piece happening when neither of us really feels good about who the head coach is going to be here next season. So what good would it be to fire, say, a coordinator or a position coach when the whole thing could be coming down here soon?
Deck chairs on the Titanic if you fire a coordinator.
Gosh, yeah. That's what it feels like to me. And we know James Franklin's loyal. We've heard him say that he's loyal to a fault. I think we saw some of that again today with the Nick Singleton, Katron Allen usage. Yeah. They fed Allen early, and then
9 carries for 59 yards on a touchdown for Allen in his first 9 carries. And the next 7 carries go to Nick Singleton. He had 7 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown after they tried to force him the ball 4 straight times, and he finally got in on the 4th one. Listen, that's not necessarily even a knock on Singleton. That's just like they're not putting him in position to succeed. Like he's not their best running back right now. The ball needs to go to Katron Allen, period.
Yeah, Nick Singleton, I feel for him on a personal level because he should not have come back. And with Stan Drayton and not Jaywan Snyder, this is not what the kid thought he was coming into, the young man, when he decided to come back last year, right? Like he thought, and this is nothing against Stan Drayton. I'm not trying to say that there's any issue with their relationship, But Nick Singleton and Katron Allen came back thinking one thing, that it was going to be status quo with their position coach, and that's not what shook out. Sure, that's the sport, that's the business of it. They'll run up against this in the NFL, but Singleton's draft stock absolutely took a hit. I think we can look at Drew Allar now and say his draft stock by coming back took a hit. Dani Dennis-Sutton certainly continues to help himself, but John, at some point this season, I almost asked it tonight, but I held back because he talked about playing for pride and winning out or trying to win as many games as they can and those kinds of things. At what point do we see these guys with NFL futures saying, yeah, not doing it, I'm done? I think that's going to be another wave to monitor this season.
Well, and I think the argument for that not happening was, well, like, the guys just don't do that under James Franklin. Well,
do you really want to play in the Cheez-It Bowl? I mean, to be fair, there were reps. There were reps from the Cheez-It Bowl here today, which Penn State, again, getting to bowl eligibility for this team, John. Holy cow! I don't see how we see that. I don't think we see any bowl actually.
Pop-Tarts Bowl, only bowl.
Yeah.
But to answer the question that I posed to you, I think this was James's last press conference as head coach.
So then who's talking to us on Monday? Or am I just shouting into the void, like always?
Do you have a guess for that? Because I have a guess for that. If it's not him.
If Penn State has to do an internal head coach,
should I say?
I think it would be Terry, right?
Yes, Terry Smith.
Probably. That would be the easy. Because he's the assistant associate first guy in command, whatever the role is, right? Yeah. He's like the number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that is if things go that direction, I think that's what happens. Mm-hmm. And I think one more question before we close this out. We appreciate everyone watching live. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening after the fact on Apple Podcasts, please leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Those really help us out. And even if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, please hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. We really appreciate all of you guys, especially everyone in the chat. Feel free to drop questions in. We're getting late in the pod today, but we'll be live on Tuesday night. Always down to answer questions that are Penn State related.
And if there's something shocking that we need to address before Tuesday night, we'll handle it.
We'll be back live if we have to be. But the last question I have is, who is Penn State's head coach for the season opener next year?
Oh God. Oh, John.
This is my favorite part. We're making predictions like anyone else is.
It's
again not reporting.
It is not the guy who is currently here.
Yeah, but I want a name. That's not good enough. I'll sit silently.
I mean, we know one of the first calls will be Matt Rule because that's Pat Kraft's guy, but Matt seems pretty happy at Nebraska. I don't know if you're able to lure him here, the State College guy. Gosh, I mean, who else comes open? Like what other guys get let go between now and then? You've gotta think big, and like I like the idea of a Matt Rule. Like I get it, but I also am not sure if it's going to perfectly line up if we go down that rabbit hole. But what I will say is that I do not think it's James Franklin, which is I've been consistent with that. I said that last week that I thought there'd be a coaching change coming, and I think after today it's abundantly clear something has to change. And now, are we maybe heading toward like a wink, nudge, nudge mutual parting come late in the year, perhaps, to kind of get out of the buyout figures a little bit, get out from under that? But yeah, so I guess I would default to Rule, even though I don't think it would necessarily be him. So John, you've thought a lot about this since you're putting me on the spot with it. So
I think after today, this is not likely, but my first target would be Kalen DeBoer. Try and get someone that is like unhappy in their situation, can succeed more elsewhere. I don't think it'll be him though. I think it's straightforward. I think it is Matt Rule. I think he's Penn State's head coach to start next year. I don't know that for certain. Nobody does. One name that I actually feel. Do I want to say this?
Don't do it.
Try to save me from myself. I guess I'll say it this way. I would be surprised if it's Curt Cignetti. Like that.
Yeah.
I've seen that name floated a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been surprised before, to be clear. I thought this defense was awesome. So maybe don't maybe don't take
John, at what point do we just punt on our preseason predictions because Drew Allar's not getting invited to the Heisman ceremony. I'm losing my double down bet.
I was gonna say, I think I might just have sealed this up today.
I say, at what point are we just like, you know what? Our preseason predictions were so terribly wrong.
Oh, you should get out of karaoke. You should
maybe
karaoke. That's all.
Oh no, I love me a good karaoke. Maybe that'll be like the highlight of like our Pop-Tarts bowl trip if we even get there. Which at this point, John, I
was gonna say we're gonna have to figure out a time and place to do this now because I don't think there's gonna be a bowl game to do that.
So do we even have a karaoke place in town? Like I think we're running out of. We're gonna have to do it on the road. Maybe like a Rutgers road trip or something. Can you imagine me just showing up to some bar in Piscataway on a Friday night with a bunch of college kids, or it's gonna be like a sad scene, and I'll just be ready to put on a show.
Yeah, tough scene. But I think this is a good place to leave it for now.
We've done enough damage today.
We will be back live if anything happens in the next 24
Don't come for our
hours.
NFL Sunday. Don't do it.
The last time they did that, it was Mike Yursich, so it wouldn't surprise me. Actually, I think there was another one. I think Knowles was an NFL Sunday too. You can come for my NFL Sunday. I'm pretty much done there too.
Well, I was gonna say, at least your team got it out of the way on Thursday. Don't do it at 1:00 tomorrow. Between 1 and 4, preferably. Don't do it.
Thrilling stuff Thursday night. Just miserable. But like I said, that's a good place to leave it. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. As I said, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button down below. We appreciate everyone that is here watching live, listening after the fact, everything. This podcast works because you guys make it work, and we are deeply appreciative of that. Don't forget to read all of Audrey's writing over at InsideTheLines.substack.com. You can follow her on Twitter at OddSnyder4. You can find her on Blue Sky if you search Audrey Snyder. Follow all of my writing at CenterDaily.com. That's CENTRE. If you're watching on YouTube, it is actually right here down below, the Center Daily Times. You can find me on Twitter if you search John Sauber. You can find me on Twitter at John Sauber. It's been a long day. You
Just
can find
search
me on
his
Blue
name.
Sky if you search John Sauber. We will be back either in 72 hours or before then. We'll see. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.